Imagine a collection of islands, verdant and subtropical, adrift in the vast expanse of the East China Sea. Not a sprawling empire, not a military juggernaut, but a scattering of landmasses, seemingly insignificant. Yet, for centuries, the small archipelago held its own, maintaining a delicate sovereignty amidst the colossal ambitions of its neighbors. A quiet miracle, perhaps? Or something far more intricate? Something concealed within the very fabric of its existence. To its north, the formidable power of Japan. To its west, the ancient, enduring might of China. The Ryukyu Kingdom, as it became known, found itself quite literally caught in the middle. A precarious position for any small nation. How does one survive when sandwiched between such titans, each capable of overwhelming force? History often dictates that the weak are absorbed. But the Ryukyuans, they wrote a different narrative. A story of calculated survival. A story of silent power. They possessed no grand armies capable of repelling an invasion. No fleets designed for conquest. Their defenses were not forged from steel or stone in the conventional sense. Instead, their strength lay in something far less tangible, yet undeniably potent. A different kind of weapon altogether. A tool sharper than any blade, more resilient than any fortress. It was an art, meticulously honed over generations, requiring intellect, patience, and profound cultural understanding. The art of diplomacy. This diplomatic mastery manifested in a complex, multi-layered approach. For centuries, the Ryukyu Kingdom maintained a unique dual allegiance. On one hand, a robust tributary relationship with Imperial China. On the other, a distinct vassalage to the powerful Satsuma domain of Japan. Two masters, often with competing interests. An impossible tightrope walk? Or a deliberate strategy to ensure the kingdom's continued existence? The precise motivations, the delicate balance, remains a subject of ongoing fascination. The bond with China was ancient, steeped in tradition and mutual benefit. Ryukyu regularly dispatched elaborate tributary missions to the Ming and Qing courts. These were not simply acts of submission, they were grand processions, carefully orchestrated, rich with gifts and cultural exchange. In return, China recognized Ryukyu's sovereignty, extended military protection, and, critically, granted privileged access to its vast markets. A lucrative exchange. A strategic alliance. But what was the true cost of such patronage? Then there was Japan, specifically the powerful Satsuma domain, which asserted its control over Ryukyu in the early 17th century. This was a different kind of relationship, often more coercive. Satsuma dictated much of Ryukyu's foreign policy, especially regarding trade, and extracted significant tribute. Yet, even under this direct influence, the Ryukyuans managed to maintain a unique degree of internal autonomy. How did they walk this tightrope? By presenting an image of submission, while carefully preserving their distinct identity. This delicate balancing act transformed Ryukyu into what was famously known as the Bridge of Nations. Not merely a geographical crossroads, but a vital intermediary in the complex East Asian trade network. Ryukyu became the conduit for goods, ideas, and people between China, Japan, Korea, and Southeast Asia. A hub of commerce and culture, flourishing despite its lack of military might. It carved out an indispensable role, making itself too valuable to be fully consumed by any single power. A stroke of genius, or a desperate necessity? Their diplomatic endeavors were not limited to trade agreements and political maneuvering. Culture itself became a powerful tool. Ryukyuan envoys, resplendent in unique attire, performed elaborate court dances and showcased their distinct musical traditions. They were not just diplomats, they were cultural ambassadors, presenting an image of a refined, peaceful, and prosperous kingdom. This soft power created admiration and respect, serving as a subtle but effective barrier against outright aggression. An elegant defense, crafted with artistry and intent. At the heart of this intricate system was the Ryukyuan king, residing in the magnificent Shuri castle. His court meticulously managed the flow of information, the delicate protocols of tribute, and the constant navigation of external demands. Every gesture, every gift, every word spoken during a diplomatic mission was carefully considered. They understood the nuances of power dynamics, the importance of appearance, and the long game of political survival. A true masterclass in statecraft, played on a world stage where the stakes were existential. To further solidify their unique position, the Ryukyu Kingdom consciously fostered a distinct national identity. While influenced by both China and Japan, they were neither. They cultivated their own language, their own art forms, their own spiritual practices. This cultural self-assertion was another subtle act of diplomacy. It asserted their right to exist as a separate entity, making it harder for larger powers to simply absorb them without consequence. They were not just a convenient land bridge, they were a people, with a rich and unique heritage. For nearly 450 years, from the 15th to the late 19th century, this system worked. The Ryukyu Kingdom enjoyed an extended period of relative peace and prosperity. A golden age, powered not by conquest, but by careful calculation and a profound commitment to non-aggression. It stood as a testament to the idea that strength isn't always measured by military might. That wisdom, adaptability, and cultural sophistication can forge a path to survival where brute force might fail. But could it last forever? As the 19th century dawned, the world began to transform. Imperial ambitions grew, trade routes shifted, and new powers emerged. The delicate geopolitical equilibrium that Ryukyu had so skillfully maintained for centuries started to fray. Whispers of change became louder. The old rules, the time-honored traditions, were being challenged. Could the quiet diplomacy that had served them so well adapt to an entirely new global order? Or was their unique path to survival destined to reach its inevitable end? Japan, undergoing its rapid Meiji Restoration, was transforming into a modern imperial power, eager to consolidate its borders and expand its influence. The concept of dual allegiance, once a strategic asset, was now seen as an anomaly, an impediment to national unity. The time for subtle maneuvers was running out. The quiet whispers of diplomacy were increasingly drowned out by the roar of burgeoning nationalism. The Ryukyu Kingdom, once so adept at balancing, found its tightrope fraying under immense pressure. The moment of truth arrived in 1879. Japan officially abolished the Ryukyu Kingdom, designating it Okinawa Prefecture. The centuries-long balancing act, the intricate dance of tribute and trade, peace and identity, concluded. It was an end not marked by invasion or bloody conquest, but by political decree. A final, quiet annexation, almost poetic in its understated conclusion, mirroring the kingdom's own subtle existence. But the disappearance of a kingdom does not erase its story. Its legacy remained. The Ryukyu Kingdom's story is a compelling testament to the power of non-military statecraft. It stands as a unique example in world history, demonstrating that strategic alliances, cultural exchange, and a shrewd understanding of geopolitical dynamics can allow a small nation to not just survive, but to flourish, for an extraordinary period. Their quiet diplomats, through subtle gestures and calculated decisions, carved out an improbable existence. A lesson in resilience, etched into the very stones of their islands. Even today, the cultural echoes of the Ryukyu Kingdom resonate deeply within Okinawa. Its distinct music, dance, cuisine, and martial arts remain vibrant expressions of a heritage shaped by centuries of careful negotiation and cross-cultural synthesis. The bridge of nations may have fallen, but its influence persists, a tangible reminder of a time when peace was a strategic imperative, and diplomacy an art form. What can we learn from a kingdom that chose conversation over conflict? The story of the Ryukyu Kingdom poses a profound question for our modern world. In an age often defined by overt power displays and military might, can the subtle, intricate methods of quiet diplomacy still hold sway? Can strategic patience and cultural understanding offer pathways to peace and prosperity, even for the smallest of actors? The Ryukyuans achieved it for centuries. Perhaps their whispered lessons from a distant past offer more than mere historical curiosity. Perhaps they offer a blueprint for future survival.